listening to the Lingerie Success Podcast, the first podcast of its kind committed to bringing you the best marketing strategies, advice, interviews, and tools for your lingerie store's success. So let's get started.
Hi everyone, this is Katie and I have Kris and Angel joining me here. We wanted to thank you for joining us for our inaugural podcast. This is our first podcast for Lingerie Success, and we are so happy to have you here joining us on what is the beginning of our hopefully very long podcast journey. So we wanted to talk a little bit about why we decided to start Lingerie Success and also to start a lingerie podcast. I know that there aren't many lingerie podcasts out there. So for us, this was something that was, really important for us to do. So I wanted to start by, having Kris say a little bit about, why we decided to start a podcast. And Kris, take it away.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you to everyone again for joining us for our inaugural episode. The reason we wanted to really start a podcast was, we saw a need. After talking to a lot of lingerie store owners all across America, Canada, and other parts of the world, there's a disconnect between strategies that bring business or bring customers to their door that were lost. Some stores were employing strategies that worked really well, and we heard other stores that, had no strategies whatsoever. So we wanted to bring all of that information together to be able to share that to the community as a whole. We wanted the Lingerie Success Podcast to sort of be a resource for our industry, for lingerie store owners or would-be lingerie store owners to be able to come and listen to the podcast and get some actionable information that they can apply to bring more business to their door. One of the things that gets lost a lot that some store owners don't realize is they're experts. They've been doing this for years. They're providing a service to the community. And they need to be able to position themselves as experts in their local community, as a resource for women who need proper supporting bras. So this podcast will help support that and will help enable the passing on of expertise from their brains, from their experience to the customer itself, so that they can be able to gain more customers and grow their business.
And for us, that's something that's so important. I mean, as a lingerie brand, we want our partners to succeed. We want to see Lingerie stores succeed. And we don't just want to see them survive. We want to see them thrive. We want to see them do really, really well, in their space, in the industry, in the economy, in their neighborhood. So for us, their success is our success. And we have, a lot of experience in marketing, in writing, in, website design, graphic design. And so we bring all of this to the table with us, on this podcast. And this is something that we, hope to share with all of our listeners and answer, maybe some of your questions that you have. And then also, set you up for success. Because that's something that's, really, really important to us.
Absolutely. Well, I think one of the key topics that will be the focusing here on this, not only this episode, but succeeding episodes to come, are really how to attract more visitors to come to a store and see, find out what they're all about. How do they convert some of those visitors into actual buyers? And then from there, we want to be able to make sure that they have repeat and referrals, increase in spends. Those are really some of the things that we'll be focusing in on this podcast. So we're very, very excited to share a lot of this experience, share a lot of this in this content, and help lingerie stores become successful.
Yes. So that is the goal of the day, the goal of our podcast. And so I think maybe we should just get right into it. And so I wanted to chat a little bit about Google. And so we're going to talk today about using Google to drive business to your lingerie store and how important Google is to your business. And, it's something that you might not think of day to day, online, using Google to drive physical business to your store. But it does work. And it's something that is proven and successful. And there's definitely a strategy and an art to it, but it's not super hard to do once you have a basic understanding of Google. So we're going to talk a little bit about Google search. And I wanted to start off with, talking about ensuring your business is found in Google searches and how to get your business found.
Yeah, I mean, I have a few statistics here that I've been looking at. 76% of people searching on their smartphones look for businesses that are nearby. 28% of them result in a purchase. So those are staggering numbers to come to think that how many, before you go to a restaurant, you want to see reviews, you want to see what menus they have, whether they're store hours or hours of operation, where they're located. A lot of these things can be found online. And, now if you have Alexa in your home or Google Home, all of this information is fed through Google. You can ask, how what's my local gym's time? When is the local salon closing? A lot of this information is out there, and most people use Google to search for this information. So if you're not there, it's like, having a business in the middle of a desert. If you have the most beautiful business, most beautiful products that for sure you have, the highest expertise in profiting, but you're in the middle of the desert, no one's going to find you. So that's how important Google is. It sort of levels the playing field. We hear a lot that stores are afraid of Amazon, losing business out to Amazon. But if you really come to think of it, Amazon is just another e-commerce platform. They're trying to be local by providing faster delivering times. Here in LA where we're at, they have, I believe, a 1-hour shipping now. I forgot. I think it's the Prime Now is the service. So what they're trying to do is what local store owners already have. But the problem is when somebody's looking for a bra fitter, like for example, they're looking for they go to Google or their cell phones, they go bra fitter near me. What are they going to find? Most likely they may find a Victoria's Secret store. They may find a Nordstrom store, which is great for some people, but in our experience, the local lingerie stores get lost in the shuffle. So I think knowing the strategies that you need to employ to show up on Google, and the importance of Google is not to be taken lightly. I think taking the time to put the effort in getting your listings up, taking advantage of what Google has to offer is something that business owners of today should not lose sight of and should definitely take advantage of.
So with Google, there is so much that we can talk about. I mean, we could have, long discussions about this. We could have, hours and hours. We could probably even create a few, audiobooks for you all. So there's a lot that we could talk about with Google and the intricacies of Google. And it's always changing. There's always something different. Even with marketing, there's, always a new marketing trend, always a new statistic. So I think maybe we should start with, the basics. So what are some basic, things that businesses can do within Google to increase visibility for their store online and really drive that foot traffic? And I think one of the things that we could talk about is, claiming listings. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, sure. Well, I still see that a lot of stores, when we talk to a partner of ours and I check their online listing, a lot of them have not even claimed their Google My Business listing, and it's for free. That's the first thing that you need to do as a business owner. Just search your name on Google, search your business name, and ensure that your listing is correct. You don't want your competitors claiming your listing. You don't want privileged people just posting inaccurate information about your business. So that's the first thing that you need to do. You need to go to Google, check if they're already listing your business. If they are, you have to claim your business. On the show notes of this podcast, we'll provide more detailed instructions on how you can do this, but that's the first thing you need to do. The second thing that you need to do is, as you're searching for your business, you're going to notice your Yelp listing. You're going to notice your Foursquare, even your Facebook listing. You need to really double check that the names, the titles of those pages are all consistent. Sometimes I see lingerie stores having my lingerie store or a lingerie store, the lingerie store. Those are all different listings, and Google and other search engines treat those as such. So you need to ensure that all your listings on Yelp, Foursquare, and these other directories, especially Google My Places or Google My Business, are accurate. And you need to make sure that you post as much information as possible on those listings. Claim them and make sure they're accurate. Put pictures. Show pictures of your store. Maybe the inside of your store, the outside of your store, any promotions that you guys have. and any your hours of operations, what type of price range. Maybe your store specializes in maternity. Make sure that that's there, because when somebody's looking for maternity bras locally, if you're not putting that on your listing, no one's going to find out. So these are some of the very quick things that you can do as a business that won't take more than an hour of your time. I'm sure you can spare an hour to be successful. So those are some of the things that I suggest that local business owners, local lingerie stores do immediately.
Yeah, and I mean, just in with that, think about, when you were looking for a new restaurant and you were going maybe out on a date, or you're, going with your husband, or, your family out to a restaurant, and you were looking for restaurants in your area, and you needed to see what kind of cuisine they offered, but you weren't sure, how to find that. Well, usually on websites like Yelp, even on Facebook, they'll list the type of cuisine. So they'll tell you if you're going to get Italian food, if you're going to get Thai food, Chinese food, American food, they'll tell you, and that helps you with narrowing down your search. So that way you can, look at what they're offering, maybe see a couple images of their restaurants, so you know what you're looking for when you're visiting the first time, because some of those restaurants are hidden. And then you can also get an idea of the price. You can get an idea of maybe their menu. Sometimes they have menus online, or even images of their entrees. So that helps you better plan your visit, and it gets you more excited about what you're going to get when you're there.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that. And as a local lingerie store owner, that's definitely something that you really have to be aware of, and you have to take the time and not miss out on that opportunity. It's perfectly free. I mean, you don't have to pay for this. A lot of stores in our industry don't have websites. If you don't have one, I suggest you do get one. You don't have to pay somebody an enormous amount of money to produce one. You can go to Wix, you can go to Squarespace, GoDaddy, get something for free up there. But it's important that you do have an online presence if you don't have one. But for those that don't have one yet, that should not stop you from being found on Google. Like, again, claiming your listing, having a social media presence, and all that stuff is the bare minimum of what you need to have, even if you don't have a website.
Yeah, it's so important, especially in this day and age, especially with the amount of, people who go online, women who go online and they do searches ahead of time before visiting new stores, shopping, restaurants. Everyone is looking online for reviews. They're looking for, places in their area to shop. So it's definitely important just to update your website, have a website, make sure that everything is updated and optimized for, your customers and for people to find you, because you definitely want to increase your business. And so making it easy for people to come to you will make the process so much easier. And so we also wanted to talk a little bit about Yelp. So Yelp is something that we touched on when we were talking about local directories and claiming your listings. So Yelp is definitely something that we wanted to chat a little bit about, especially about the reviews on Yelp.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Yelp is sort of the local listing, local directory that's very in for everybody. I mean, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of businesses that, have not claimed their Yelp listings. And, seeing some lingerie stores and some partners that we have here in Parfait, we see some of them have not, taken full advantage of Yelp. And Yelp is sort of a hybrid between social media, Facebook, and Google, and a local directory listing like your Yellow Pages, because it provides social proof, because it allows for a very a fluid flow of reviews between consumers and a store, and it sort of facilitates the experience and social proofing of a business. Normally, we find that 82% of smartphone, as you know, everybody's on their phone nowadays, especially, the millennials, the Gen Xers, they're all on their devices, whether it's a mobile phone or it's a tablet. They use that. Computer usage goes down every year almost, because you can't log around a computer everywhere you go, but you can always have a smartphone or a mobile device with you, whether you're in line at Starbucks, you're in the grocery stores or whatever. So 82% of smartphone users say that they're using they're using Google search or Yelp to find a local business to deal with, whether they're looking for a local restaurant where they're going to eat, looking for a bra fitter where they can, procure their bras, So it's very important that you do take advantage of, using Yelp and claiming your listings. And the other thing that is important too, if you notice, if you search for any local businesses in Google, you will see the Google 3-pack. There's only 3 results that show up as a local business. You can try it. Just open up your browser on your phone or on your computer. Just search for local, your zip code, and maybe a Italian restaurant, and you'll most likely see 3 that are in a box with the map that you have reviews for and stuff like that. That used to be 10. They went down to 7. It went down to 5. Now it's 3. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe in a few years, Google will just show 1, because they want to show Google's goal is to show the most relevant results to a user that's using them. So having your listing on Yelp will add to that, because Google knows that your business is a credible business. It's been around. It has reviews. It has accurate information on it, so that they know that you are an actual business that people love and care for. So they'll most likely show you up first above everybody else in your space.
And I know that a lot of us out there, we might be wondering, well, I can't control my reviews. Like, what if someone leaves
Absolutely.
a negative review? What if it happens to me, one day and I'm on Yelp claiming I've just claimed my listing, and then my first review is negative, and that's terrifying. That's awful for a business to experience that. I think, with negative reviews and positive reviews, it's honest feedback. So it's an opportunity. It's a conversation from the customer. Some of those, reviews that you get, sometimes the customers just may not have liked the experience. It might not have been the right store for them. Sometimes, you can't control, the feedback that they leave. And with that, the general public is usually pretty understanding when that does happen, but it's also a good idea to increase the amount of positive reviews that you have. You definitely want, brand ambassadors, you want store ambassadors, you want customers out there with positive things to say about you, spreading the word of your store. And that is definitely something that isn't as common online these days. A lot of people, go to Yelp first as soon as they have a negative experience. They don't go through the proper channels. They don't reach out to the store. They don't go back. They don't try to resolve it. The customers typically just leave a negative review. And with the amount of stores out there and the amount of options that we have now with, brick and mortar stores, we have online, we have so many options to order from. It's never been more important to make sure that you have people who are, spreading the word of your store, who are positive and brand ambassadors for you, and really passionate about, your store and the service and what you have to offer. And so that's why positive reviews are also very, very important. And Kris has a suggestion for asking for review. It's something that you might not expect, but it definitely works for a lot of retailers. Kris, do you want to share it with us?
Absolutely. Well, we were having a discussion earlier. Before I even get to that, I just wanted to mention that we as consumers, we are consumers. Every day we deal with businesses. You go get gas at a gas station. You go to a local 7-Eleven and buy your, milk for your kids, or if you don't have time, and whatever. There's a lot of business that you deal with on a day-to-day basis. How many times do you really leave a review? Like it's
true.
The last time I've left a review was at a restaurant, and the suggestion that I have is exactly this. When I was at the restaurant, I was having a great meal with my family, and the host came up to me and asked me, how was the food? And of course, at the time, it was excellent. We had Italian food. It was a local mom and pop Italian restaurant, and they asked me about my experience, and my wife was happy. We had risotto, and that was our favorite, and so they customized it for us, and so our experience was fabulous. So with that, and they said, "Oh, would you like dessert? We can give you your desserts for free. Would you mind leaving us a review on Yelp?" That was the perfect time for them to ask me, and I was more than happy. And I was not the only one that left a Yelp review. My wife did too. So they already had 2 people that were that had a very positive, similar experience and left 2 reviews. So you touching on local laundry stores getting bad reviews. We had this discussion earlier. the best defense to this is really offense. You cannot help but get bad reviews. It happens. Not everybody, you can do everything perfectly, and there will always be something that you do that irritates somebody. It's just a fact of life. But at the same time, if you actively request or ask for a review, you're going to get it. I mean, you brought up a good point earlier. We were having this discussion off the podcast. If you don't ask, you probably will not receive. So you should ask for a review so that you could be able to, not fight off, but try to push down those bad reviews. And maybe a positive review that your customer posts will already answer a negative review that you received. For example, you'll have a customer saying, "Oh, the bra that I purchased after 10 washing machine washes was destroyed." I mean, we all know in the laundry industry, you're not supposed to. I mean, it's hard to really police that, but realistically, you should hand wash. You should care for your lingerie because they're important items. They're not cheap. But women are so used to buying cheap bras for like $5-10 at a local chain store that they're just gonna throw that in the washer, throw it in the dryer. And so their experience has no context. But what they will post on their review is, I bought a crappy product from this store, and they wouldn't even take it back. Realistically, you shouldn't take it back because it's worn and it's washed like 10 times. But they'll just read that review, and there's nothing you can do about it. But if you had other people posting how the experience was awesome, the products that you carry were the right fit, you made sure that you fitted them for the right product, that experience is a social proof to the other people that are reading this bad review and telling them, "Oh, that customer is a one-off experience. That is her opinion." But overall, everybody that does business with this particular local store or lingerie store has great experiences. So you need to facilitate that by asking for the review. But how do you ask for a review? Just exactly like my example, they gave me a free dessert. You can offer a gift with purchase. Here at Parfait, we work with our local partners and we give them bags, for example, for them to be able to do as gift with purchase. You can ask a partner, another brand maybe that you work with, to supply you with some of these, or you could give out a discount. You can either give a discount on an order that they're placing now, or you can give them a discount for your future purchase just for asking. But most of the time, if they have a great experience, you don't really need to incentivize them much because of the great experience they have. They're more than willing to do so. But, it doesn't help. I mean, it doesn't hurt to ask and provide something of an incentive for them to do so.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea to ask for reviews. With reviews also, I've noticed, to be honest, the good outweighs the bad. So you will see, reviews online. Usually if someone, creates an account just to leave a bad review for your store, it might not even post up on the results page. It might be one of the reviews that Yelp hides because that person doesn't have enough, reviews under their belt to really be an authority and be published to your business page. So that's common too. One thing that I do like seeing with Yelp reviews is the retailer, the store owner, manager, an advocate, from the store getting involved in that conversation. So if there is, a bad review, if someone says, they didn't like their experience or they felt like they were being ignored or they didn't have something in their size, it's, replying in that comment and showing them, good customer service, the exceptional customer service that they would receive in your store, and showing them, we'll come back to our store, or give us a call, putting your phone number, your contact information, even just in the comment, though it's already listed on the page, and reminding them that you'll take care of them, that you will definitely, treat them well, and also just apologizing and being genuine in your reply. So, saying, "I'm so sorry that you had a bad experience with us. We value our customers. We want to make sure that everyone has a really good experience," and then touching on, the issue at hand. So if it was not having their size, mention that you can custom order their size, mentioning that you can call them if there's a specific style that they like and maybe make a suggestion of something available, offering to maybe mail it to them if they pay shipping. So just showing them that you'll go above and beyond in those comments. It's a really good way to kind of monitor them and do a little bit of brand control and, make sure that the message that is out there is one that you want.
I mean, one thing I did want to mention, if you do get a negative review, I don't suggest you bashing the other party and telling them that, you're just upset, just trying to just defend yourself. But realistically, consumers are smart enough to see through that. If you have enough positive reviews about the real experience that majority of your customers are having with your store, I think people can see right through that. So, bashing somebody that left you a bad review is not a great idea because it puts you on a defense instead of putting you on the offense. I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, and something that I've also liked to talk about is fake reviews. So fake reviews are a huge issue online, and it's something that you really, really don't have much control over as far as a fake review goes. I mean, there are definitely companies out there who pay people to leave reviews, leave good feedback, but those are usually the people who have maybe one review on their account or 2 reviews, and they're leaving that feedback, and it's just not honest. And so there's definitely an issue of fake reviews out there. But I mean, like Kris said, consumers are smart. They know what's real. They know what's fake. They know that if they see a review and it just seems off, they'll either disregard it, or they will definitely, if a brand is doing that, they'll consider maybe not shopping with them. So fake reviews are definitely an issue.
Yeah, and again, to the point of, offense is the best defense in this instance. Just pushing for your positive reviews is really the key. And you mentioned it earlier that a lot of these platforms, Google especially, most especially Google and Yelp as well, their systems are very smart. They don't need people to weed out negative and bad reviews or fake reviews. They're just, they just know that it's a fake review because this person only left one, and this IP address or this particular website or computer has never been to Yelp ever before and never after this review, so that they know that that's fake. They have all that system to figure out if somebody's fake or a review is fake or not. So most likely, in Yelp's case, they probably will not post that review if it's fake. In Google, it's much worse. You can get penalized for posting fake reviews. They can completely ban your listing. They can delist your profile. So that's something that you really, really have to be weary of.
Yeah, and that's something definitely that we could even dedicate a whole podcast to, just talking about, policing and also fake reviews in general, and how there are certain social media platforms that have really cracked down on fake reviews and even fake news. It's been a huge issue as of late. And it's something that has really more recently been brought to light, and people have been, going at fake reviews and making sure that, fake news as well is taken down, so the general public is better educated and they don't have, fake information out there. So with our podcast, we do have to wrap up, but we did want to go over just a few things, here that we've discussed today. We've talked about, claiming your listing. So claiming your listing and how to do that. You can go on Yelp, you can go on Facebook, Foursquare, Google, plus there are so many different avenues for claiming your listing. And then also just making sure that your names are consistent across the listing. So making sure that if your store name is Your Lingerie Store, that it's showing up as Your Lingerie Store on Facebook, Yelp, and Google Plus as well. It's not showing up as lingerie store, etc., or something of that nature. It's showing up the same. So that's really, really important as well. And then reviews. So the importance of reviews, positive, negative, and also the, awful fake reviews that are out there, and how to combat some of that. So we did want to, chat with you on just one thing this week that we saw that we really wanted to touch on, and that is Livy Ray. And Livy Ray had a recent campaign. It was pretty amazing. It's still going on right now. And so I wanted to chat a little bit about it. Unfortunately, they're receiving backlash, which is so sad. They are such a proponent for diversity in the lingerie industry, and they're based in Georgia. And they recently posted a campaign showing women of different shapes, sizes, ethnicity, beautiful women wearing lingerie and rocking it and looking flawless on their storefront windows. And they've had They've had locals and, news channels and even internet bullies that have really tried to shame them for their mission. And it's just so unfortunate to see, especially because, there are so many women out there who don't feel represented in the media, who don't feel represented in ads and images. And to see their body shape in something that is, being celebrated is just so much needed in this industry. It's such a breath of fresh air. And so with that, the good news that has come from the backlash is that Livy Ray has refused to take the images down. So decision. They are standing behind it. They are saying, no, we're not going to take those images down. Those are our customers, our fans. We owe it to them. We are, dedicated to showing them in the media and showing their images, and that, no, we're not going to take them down. There's,
they shouldn't.
Yeah, beauty doesn't have one size in the industry. And it's time for that to be recognized, that women of all ages, shapes, sizes, they can be beautiful and they can be shown in, non-sexualized lingerie images, as these women were. And so we really, stand by Livy Ray. We really support them and support their campaign. And so if you want to learn more actually about their campaign, you can visit their Facebook page at facebook.com /Livy Ray GA. They're based in Georgia. Or you can even join the conversation on social media with hashtag #NoShameLivyRay.
Yeah, that's definitely great information. We're very happy to be in communications with them and working with them on this particular campaign. We're very excited about the stance that they're taking. It's, like we always read the statistics that, majority of what we see in the media and magazines are not the representation of what is actually reality for women.
So
not everybody
true.
is a size 2, a Victoria's Secret perfect body. It's just not the case. There's, not saying that, smaller women are bad, but it's not everybody has to be a perfect body. What's a perfect body? This is something that we've discussed here at Parfait. It's something that we produce content for. We're constantly looking at this particular topic because here in our workplace we have a lot of women that we work with, and they're not all one shape, one color, one size. And I think this is an important point that Livy Ray is making a stand for that, and it's good that you're bringing that news to this podcast. I'm excited to every week on every episode podcast that we have, we can be able to hear more of this type of news. So I think it's great that you're bringing this on board.
Yeah, thank you. I'd love to, open up that conversation to really talk about, women and the importance of showing women of all, sizes and ethnicities in the lingerie industry. I think it's so important. I mean, the average American woman's size now is a size 14, and the average American women's bra size is a 34 double D.
Wow.
So it's definitely time that we see, women who are representing us in the media, and women of all sizes, because, beauty doesn't have a size. And that's something that is just so needed, in 2017 and today.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we do have some homework for our listeners. We do, with the topics that we've discussed today, one of the first things that, Katie already mentioned, please claim your listing if you haven't done so. The process is very simple. You do need to just take note that you do need to post your real address, because Yelp and Google, I'm not sure if Yelp has recently updated this, but I know for sure that Google, they're becoming more strict about this. They're going to be sending you a postcard with your correct, to your correct address that you listed, so you can verify. They'll send you a code, and you'll be able to, go back to your listing and claim that listing properly. And then the other thing is, please add your website URL, if you do have one, to your Facebook. A lot of the stores of today have their Facebook. That's the bare minimum that they have. So please include your website URL. And the last thing is, we want to make sure that you do get once you've claimed your listing, once you have your Facebook profile set up with the ability to accept reviews, please ask 10 of your customers this week for reviews. That's 10 that you wouldn't have otherwise. So please do that immediately. I think that's easy. I'm sure a lot of you get more than 10 customers a week. So if 10 customers that leave you a positive review, whether they don't have to say anything. They can just put 5 stars and not explain anything. As simple as that. If you have that, please, 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 get that rolling and, get those reviews up.
Yes. And as always, we wanted to thank you for listening to us here. We do have a question of the day to share with you. So this is something that you can, answer with us and join in the conversation on our Lingerie Success website, our blog, or on our Facebook page. We have a Facebook group, Lingerie Success. You can join us there. And it is, what is the most effective or incentive promotion you've offered your customers, and what were the results? So this is something that we'll be getting into next week. We wanted to see, what your feedback might be this week before we start talking about it. But we're looking to see, about some of the promotions that you've offered. And even if they're out of the box and they're crazy and they're silly, we still want to hear them, because anything that's driving business to your store and producing good results is important. It should definitely be shared.
Yeah, definitely. Please do send those to us. Last but not least, as a lingerie store owner, you're looking for new ideas to grow your business, take it to the next level, with practical business marketing strategies that you can implement today. That's what this podcast is all about. We want to hear from you. If you have an experience, tip, or question that you'd like to share or ask that you think would resonate with the lingerie store community or our lingerie industry in general, we'd appreciate receiving those questions. Like Katie mentioned, we'd love to connect with you. We'd love the chance to talk to you. You can visit us on lingeriesuccess.com. That will redirect you to our Parfait Success blog, where you can leave a comment on the show notes of this, which we'll post on that blog as well. You can leave your comment. You can leave the answers to the question of the day, and whatever questions you may have. Please feel free to do so. And we invite you to subscribe to this podcast, share it, rate it, review it. Also, we've talked about reviews. Please, if you find this or future episodes valuable to you, we ask that you please rate, review, and share it with, other industry friends that you have. It will help us facilitate giving you more information. It'll help us do better at these podcasts. So, again, we want to thank you so much for your time. And again, we invite you to go to lingeriesuccess.com.
Yes, thank you. And we're looking forward to seeing those reviews and seeing those, those of you who are part of the conversation with us, who are, chatting about promotions, and we're so excited to, chat with you guys about it. And so for our podcast for this week, that about wraps it up. I wanted to thank Kris and Angel for being here with me today in this beautiful sunny day in California, and we will talk to you next week.
Thank you, guys.
This podcast is brought to you by Parfait. For more information, show notes, and downloads, please go to www.lingeriesuccess.com.